So, quite a few of you on our channel have asked us how to paint various types of Kroot skin. So here we are with 3 different tones to choose from, all using the same steps and techniques. The great thing about Kroot is that no matter where they live, all have unique tones and colours to choose from, even from the same hunting pack. In this video we'll focus on a sandy ochre, shadowy blue and a pale mossy green skin tone on our Kroot carnivores here. But you could use these on any Kroot models or even other armies altogether. First, here's all the paints that we used for our sandy ochre Kroot. Next, here's all the paints that we used for our shadowy blue Kroot. And finally, all the paints we used for the pale mossy green Kroot. And here's all the tools and equipment that we used for all 3. If you're new to painting or want to brush up on your skills, you can check out the Citadel Colour Painting Essentials playlist to learn all about paints and techniques. Before we even start looking at all those colours, we need to undercoat our Kroot carnivores. For all 3, we'll be using Wraithbone, as it's a great light colour with some warmth added to it. So let's start painting the sandy ochre colour. For the base coat of the skin, we'll use Hobgrot hide and a medium base brush. Don't worry about being too neat with the application if the skin is the first thing you're painting. We just want to make sure that we get a couple of thinned layers to build up a smooth, solid finish. Hobgrot hide works really well for a sandy tone that's slightly pastel. This just means that it looks more natural for skin, rather than something really bright yellow. With our base coat finished and looking smooth, we can add some shading. Now we're ready for a light shade for the recesses. For this, we'll thin down 1 part Seraphim Sepia with 1 part Lahmian Medium. I'll be using a medium layer brush to apply this, but you may use a smaller or bigger brush, depending on the size of area you're painting. This size of brush just allows more control when applying the thin shade. As you can see, I'm just applying it lightly, so it flows into all those recesses, showing more of those muscle groups. Once that first coat is dry, you could apply a second into those recesses if you want them a bit darker. But we want to keep some of the lighter, paler tones to the skin, so just apply sparingly. Next, we'll add some definition to those muscles. We'll do this by dry brushing lightly with a Shabti bone using a small dry brush. Using both directional and circular motions, we can lightly catch those raised areas such as cheekbones, knuckles and the tailbone. This dry brush will help to soften those brightest areas and start to bring all of the colours together, making it a soft and natural skin tone. With this step done, your Kroot skin tone is now battle ready, and you're ready to use this on lots of your hunting packs straight away. But we can define our skin tone even more with one more step. And that is by highlighting selectively with Pallid Witch Flesh using a small layer brush. We'll get a sharp point to our brush by rolling it on the palette like so, bringing all those bristles together, ready for highlighting. We just want to pick out the sharpest and most visible striking features on our Kroot. The face and hands are a really good place to start with. Then anything else is a bonus if you want to spend the time painting. And with that last little highlight, we have one Kroot skin tone finished and looking rather nice. Now we have looked at our steps for one colour, let's use the same techniques and brushes to paint the other 2 carnivores. So let me run you through those super quick and you can start painting them. For the shadowy blue skin tone, we'll start with a base coat of Dark Reaper, making sure that we get all those layers smooth, giving each coat time to fully dry. Then we'll shade with 1 part Drakenhof Nightshade thinned with 1 part Lahmian Medium. We'll only need 1 coat, but feel free to add any more once it's dried in those recesses. Then we'll dry brush with Rust Grey and highlight with Fenrisian Grey to complete the skin tone. Remember to keep the dry brush light and the highlight small to add the right amount of softness and sharpness for those details. What a great looking skin tone, especially if you want to use this for an alternative colour for the much larger and brutish Krootox. And for our pale mossy skin tone, we'll base coat with Straken Green. Just remember not to thin this paint down too much, as it's already quite thin. Next we'll shade it with 1 part Poxwalker, thinned down with 1 part Lahmian Medium, just in the same way as the other 2 Kroot. Then we can add a dry brush of Nurgling Green and a highlight of Creed Khaki. This tone is most common when it comes to Kroot, but you can change up the dry brush or highlight to other light green paints to make each Kroot look even more unique. So experiment with other colours and see what you can create. And there we are. Our Kroot carnivores have so much more personality now. You can use these all over your Kroot army, giving these avian Xenos so much more colour. For more tutorials, tips and tricks, check out the videos on the Warhammer YouTube channel, or head to your local Warhammer store where our amazing staff would be happy to help. Well, we hope you enjoyed this video and we'll see you next time. Bye bye!